What's up guys, my name is Ace, and on this very special day every year, I like doing the devs' job for them and really spreading my genius around to help them finally fix their game. And in the case of Black Ops 6, I've got a handful of suggestions here that will immediately turn this game around, and if they follow these to a T, I guarantee this will be the biggest game you've ever seen. So let's start this off with one of my biggest gripes with Black Ops 6 and one of the biggest issues with this game, and that is their map design. In general, the maps in this game are just way too complex, and there's far too many lanes and routes that you can take, which is obviously very overwhelming and totally unfair if somebody can sneak around and get behind me. And just taking a look at a random example that I pulled out here on Derelict, for instance, this one is insanely complex. As you can see, this is clearly at least a 9-lane map. In fact, that's me being a little bit generous. It's probably more like a 14 or 15 lane map, but I didn't want to go too overboard with counting the lanes. And that's obviously going to be unfair to anybody that isn't paying attention to all of these lanes. And how could you possibly manage that many lanes at once in your head? Now, thankfully, they have shown that they're at least capable of getting on the right track with map design, with one map in particular that they added post-launch, and this is Bullet. Now, in my opinion, Bullet still does have way too much cover on it. However, I think one key adjustment to that is if they just blocked off the inside of the train, so you couldn't access inside the train, you would then have an absolute masterpiece of a multiplayer map. And I'd like to see them really transition their map design philosophy to follow suit with this. I think that would make for a much more fair experience where you don't have people that are able to get behind you and shoot you in the back, because that's just a totally unfair way to play the game, and real men don't fear standing in front of their target while shooting them. Now, on that same topic of the maps in this game, another thing they just haven't been doing nearly enough of with this game so far is reskins of existing maps that are already in the game. This is something where they're really falling behind Modern Warfare 3. I believe Modern Warfare 3 had like 7 or 8 different versions of Shipment, which is one of the best Call of Duty maps ever made. And yet in Black Ops 6, we've only had 2 versions of Nuketown, and one of those versions you can't even access anymore. That was a limited time thing for the holidays. And I know we are expecting one more variant of Nuketown coming with Season 3, but they're really falling behind the pace here, and they really need to ramp up their efforts of creating variant maps in this game, rather than bringing new original maps that you have to spend time learning. I'm not here to learn, this isn't school, I'm here to play a video game, so stop giving me homework by adding new maps to the game. So that's the first major issue with Black Ops 6. The next one is their Omnimovement system. And while I do like Omnimovement, I think the sliding is just way too weak in its current state. And it's actually really frustrating that it's limited. So what I'd like to see them do here, and something that will immediately improve the pacing and the flow of the gameplay, is sliding should just be infinite. You shouldn't have to slide multiple times to get from one side of the map to the other. You should be able to do that all in one slide. And that slide shouldn't stop unless you actively cancel that slide. It's really frustrating that the game stops the slide for you. And also, the general speed of that slide is just way too slow in my opinion, so they need to ramp that up quite significantly as well. And if they do that, that'll make the gunfights a lot more fair and balanced in the game. Next up, another area where they've been moving in the right direction, but I think they really need to ramp up their efforts here. This is with the character skins that they're creating. This is a big issue. In my eyes, there are just way too many human skins in the game right now. And this is a video game. I'm trying to disconnect from real life and from other people, so it's really jarring when I see a human skin pop up in my game. So I'm really hoping in the future here they can ramp up the number of crossover events that come out so they can further dilute that pool of human characters in the game. And the 90s has some excellent crossovers that I think they're neglecting at this point. So I'd love to see something like Powerpuff Girls, Thomas the Train, Chip and Dale, Garfield, My Little Pony, Sailor Moon. These are all excellent options that I think would really liven up the game and again, help me disconnect from reality a lot more, which is desperately needed. This is an arcade game, therefore humans have absolutely no place in this. We need far more cartoon characters. And going off of that, well, we definitely can't get enough of these character skins and crossovers being added to the store. In that sense, give us all the content you can get. On the other hand, I think at this point, we're just getting bombarded far too much with major updates that are changing things with the gameplay, and also far too many content-related updates outside of the Call of Duty store. What I've noticed is we're getting major updates like every 2 months. And I'm a busy person with a lot on the go outside of gaming, and they need to respect that. I can't keep up with these huge changes every couple of months, and they're always just blowing up my feed with constant communication as well. And while it's nice that they have been consistently delaying every one of their seasons aside from the first one, I think they need to delay these even more and maybe even cancel a few seasons. At this rate, I'm not going to be able to keep up with everything that's going on here, and I think this extreme amount of updates and content is really starting to push a lot of players away because it's just overwhelming for them. Now, one final area where I think there's still quite a bit of room for improvement, this is with the general matchmaking and connection experience. So far in Black Ops 6, my ping has been just a little bit too consistent. I'm only seeing a variance of about 50 milliseconds from one match to the next, and I'm only jumping between about 20 to 70 ping, which is just far too consistent, and as we know, consistency gets really boring. So I'd really like to see them ramp this up and really take advantage of the fact that Call of Duty is a global brand, and a great way to ensure that they do this is to ensure that we always play on a different continent after every single match. This would be great to really mix things up and again, get rid of some of that boring consistency that they have. And it also fits in great with the best decision they ever made for the franchise, which is forced disbanding lobbies. So keep up that great work in that area as well. Player choice can be really overwhelming and stressful. So looking back to the dark ages of Call of Duty before they started disbanding lobbies, I just remember how stressful it was to finish a match, and then I had to decide if I wanted to stay in that match for a rematch or hit several buttons to back out and search for a new match on my own. So I'm glad they're sticking to that choice to minimize consistency in that way, but I really think they need to ramp this up, take it to the next level, and ensure that we're not only getting different continents sometimes like we currently do, but more so we should be exposed to different continents on a more consistent basis, which I think would also help with a lot of the toxicity in the game right now. Like, the voice chat bans have been great. We shouldn't be able to say things that our operators are saying in game. That's just ridiculous and could hurt somebody's feelings. But this would be less of an issue if they made sure that we were playing in different continents where it's more likely that we're going to run into people that are speaking a different language. Then we no longer have to worry about getting our feelings hurt because we can't understand what they're saying anyway. And the benefits to this change just keep rolling in, because there's one other huge benefit that we'd be seeing here, and this is by opening up the matchmaking to the entire globe instead of mostly trying to make sure you stay on one continent. This would allow the matchmaking system to be a lot more strict. It's more likely they're going to be able to find players that are of a similar skill level if they can match you with anyone on Earth. And that would just ensure that I don't have to play against anybody that's worse than me, so bots, or anybody better than me, also known as cheaters. So with all of this, while they've been doing a great job with their matchmaking system and their disbanding lobbies since the launch of Modern Warfare 2019, I feel like they've just been barely scratching the surface of what's possible here. And it's time to take this to the next level and really take advantage of the fact that this is a global brand in order to ensure that you're minimizing that consistency and therefore maximizing the number of players that want to play your game. And there we go. That's going to wrap it up for a good handful of suggestions that will absolutely skyrocket Black Ops 6 to the top of the charts, especially on Steam, the most important platform that the vast majority of Call of Duty players are already playing on. If they do all of these things, I can guarantee those numbers are going to shoot right back up. In fact, it's probably going to exceed the numbers that we saw at launch. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts and feedback on this lovely 1st of April, carrying on that tradition of providing the best possible feedback every single year on this day on this channel. And this is where I want to hear all of that praise in those comments down below. How much of a genius do you think I am after seeing these amazing pieces of feedback? If you enjoyed this video, which of course you did, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.